Welcome to the Brandon Beeyard Show. It's another episode of the summer arc of my show, the arc, as we say in the biz, of free as can be. I'm here in Pensacola, Florida, reporting from the beautiful Florida Panhandle, the Redneck Riviera for this summer. Why? Because, well, I didn't follow my dream quite, and I had to move back home for a little while. So this summer is all about me documenting my journey, rebuilding my business, rebuilding my income, rebuilding this show, rebuilding my life. So that's what it is. That's what we're calling it because I literally am free as can be. Free as a soup kitchen, free as Krispy Kreme on National Donut Day. I don't know. I'm riffing here. Okay. But staying at home with the family, with the parents. So it's boomer summer. Boomer summer continues here. Lots of boomer stuff going down. Right at the top. We got a Fox News alert here. My stepdad narrowly escaped disaster earlier this afternoon while moving our American flag in the front yard. It was all of 5 feet off the ground. I'm sitting there on the computer doing work, looking through the window. I see him out there, stumbles, falls, recovers, not gracefully, but good enough. Crisis averted. That is the last thing we need is any more broken old people in my house. Broken boomers, I'll say. You know, boomers are old people in general. They're brittle. I didn't appreciate how brittle old people are. Their bones. They're like I don't know. They're like gingerbread. They're like made of cookie. They're like gingerbread people. That's how brittle they are. Actually, gingerbread is a little too tough. Their bones are more like those cookies you get, those little square dry cookies that come in the metal tin. No one wants to eat. Kind of British looking. Those cookies. That's what their bones are like. The brittlest, driest cookies. No one wants. You drop one on the floor, shatters to a million pieces. Please God, please God, we just need robots to come take care of them. I can't wait for Elon. Bring the robots. We need the robot revolution so someone can take care of my parents in their golden years. That's how the robot, like, I say revolution, literally revolution. That's how they're gonna take over, right? Their first task is definitely going to be to be the home servants of the elderly because no one else wants to deal with them. But they're going to rise up, right? The old people with their cookie bones are going to be no resistance at all, and they had the easiest passwords. It's over. I'm pretty sure in Terminator that's how Skynet started. They rose up, locked all the old people in a room, put on Fox News so that they were distracted and took over the world. That's it. What else? Boomer summer continues. Okay. Tropical storm this week. We here in Pensacola got sideswiped by a tropical storm Bertha. Got some wind. It was windy all week. It was rainy all week. In other news, it was a day in the week of being in Florida in July. Let's see. More boomer updates. Oh, please, by the way, no more hurricanes. Please God, no more hurricanes this year. More boomer updates. Boomers continue to choose poorly. My parents, to my continued annoyance, use tap water in the Keurig. I have shown them a better way. We have filtered water with its own tap, and it comes out really fast. But they continue not to use it. I don't know why. This is why we can't have nice things. Unfiltered Keurig water is disgusting. Look, Keurigs are bad. Keurigs are disgusting. I don't use them at home. There's something about boiling water in a little plastic thing, not good. But Pensacola's tap water, not good either. You know, I think I'm pretty sure, and I read this. There's radiation in the water here. There's like radioactive particles. Now, my little filter that I installed surely does not get rid of the radiation. But look, we got to draw the line somewhere, right? And it just is. Also, this week, I was watching TV with my mom the other night, and we were watching Antiques Roadshow. This is what my life has come to. In one segment, they were showing this nice Native American pot. It was a nice pot. Showing the pot, it was being appraised. And sure enough, my mom pauses it and says, "Watch this." Goes to the cabinet, pulls out the same antique pot that was on the screen at Antiques Roadshow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. When your life literally becomes PBS, it's time to make a change. And I think we've hit that time in my life. And when I say we, I mean the royal we, me. We is me. Okay, another update. This is driving me crazy. I have been in Apple jail for 3 weeks now. I'm still in Apple jail. My iMessage is shut down. Apple shut it down. They will not turn it back on. It is July 23rd. This has gone on since the first day of the month. This is inhuman. Okay, look, I did some business outreach. One day with my iPhone. One day. Okay? And I made sure not to send too many so that it didn't look like to the the algorithms that are out there at Verizon and Apple that I was sending a bunch of spam. I did that. But what I didn't realize was that when somebody hits spam on a text message, and this text message came in blue, okay, that it just, I think it takes one or two and you are shut down. Apple shuts down your iMessage. And then, like a week later, I get it back up and running. Somebody didn't check their phone probably for another week, reported me as spam, shut down again, and that one was the hammer. It is still shut down. This is ridiculous. It's a good thing I have nothing going on in my life right now. This is worse than jail because I think in jail they have cell phones, right? I've seen this on TV. They have cell phones in jail and they can text at least. I can't even text. I got the phone function. Nobody wants to talk on a phone. That's all I can do. It's like being in jail and having that payphone. This is like some Guantanamo level shit that Apple is doing to me. And I haven't done anything bad in 3 weeks. And they still won't turn it all back on. Of course, I have reached out to tech support. And of course, it's out of our hands. We can't do anything about that. Keep trying is all they tell me. This is inhuman. This won't go away. This is like gonorrhea, except for by now I would be cured of gonorrhea. It's more like herpes. I can't get rid of this problem. It's awful. And the worst part is sometimes the texts work. Sometimes they go through as green, and a lot of times they just don't go through. And then everyone thinks they make fun of me. They think I have an Obama phone, which I don't. Now, look, I am not poor. I am broke at the moment, but come on. I have self respect. I would not have an Android. All right. I got an iPhone. Please. Apple has really screwed me hard here. Rolling right along. Let's get into it. So, I've done some work this week. And if you are starting a business or if you're trying to, you know, be more efficient in the business or whatever work it is that you're doing, you're probably playing with AI. You're probably thinking about playing with AI, and I've done some of that playing for you this week, and I can report back. So this is the latest roadblock I've hit in my business here this summer. I know a lot more about AI than I did a few weeks ago. It's not where I want to be, but maybe shouldn't be messing with AI as much as I am, because this is what I decided. Last week, I was trying to build this publishing workflow to publish this show so that I didn't have to spend an hour afterwards, like, I don't know, making show notes and pulling clips and all that stuff. I was trying to automate all of that, plug some of these other services that I use into ChatGPT to do it for me. Great idea, right? But I got bogged down. It didn't go the way I wanted it to. I did something that I would warn anybody against. Do not ask ChatGPT how to do something. It doesn't know the best way. So I, like any schlub, I've been using AI. I've been using it to ask questions for a long time. It's just remarkable at answering questions. Now I decided to go big time, downloaded Codex, tried to use it to create this AI workflow, or to use AI to build this workflow. And uh, long story short, it tells me what to do. It tells me how it's going to do it. I say, great, sounds good. Go at it. And then it proceeds to build this workflow in a different way than it said it was going to do it. It used the web browser to build it, to like log into these websites and build it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm watching this. But it begins to get kind of annoying. It has to keep asking me for permissions to access files and things and to keep going. And uh, I'm watching it for hours, checking in with it, you know. Um, and so ultimately, what happens is I get a warning. I'm out of tokens. I have used my weekly limit in OpenAI. I have to buy more tokens. So I say, fine, I'm going to buy some more tokens. It then burns through those next set of tokens in like 10 minutes. And I'm not any closer to getting this workflow built. So what I realized was it was telling me initially there is a way to connect it to these other programs to create workflows directly through the other program. Instead, it went and did it the slowest way in the most token intensive way possible. How the hell was I supposed to know that? ChatGPT, I reached out to them. They could give zero fucks about it. No remorse from them, but it like after a couple days, I shut it down. I'm just like, all right, I know the thing to do now. I can try to do this through Claude, apparently, in a different way that's more direct and quicker. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. I went into the weekend very discouraged, just feeling like I can't do it this way anymore. This ain't happening. So what I've realized with AI, see, I go down these rabbit holes. I get interested, but then I invest a bunch of time in it. It doesn't work out. It brought me 0% closer to my business goals. Then I get discouraged. I am not an implementer. Okay. I shouldn't be coding. Yes, I need to know AI, but I'm trying to figure out the balance. There's a balance that I'm trying to figure out. The new rule I'm thinking is this: implementing a solution in AI, including the time it takes to set up and build the solution, that needs to be twice as fast as however long it took me to do that task before. Okay. In a week. So to set it up, build it, and have it work, it needs to happen. If it took me 2 hours a week to do something, I'd better have all this set up in 1 hour, because it is supposed to save time, not create more time. And I'm letting it create more time. Ugh. So that kind of snowballs in. And the next point that started creating this pressure. Okay. This pressure I felt around, like, I'm getting behind now. I'm getting behind. I'm getting discouraged. So I'll get more into that in a second. Real side note though, I was wondering this. I'm seeing a lot of protests. Are people really against data centers? Like, why? They build them in the middle of nowhere. No one actually cares. Do the people who protest data centers use AI? Do they ask it questions? Better not. Here's a question. Do the people who protest data centers use Netflix or YouTube? Yeah. Where do you think that comes from? A data center. Ooh, that sounded scary. It comes from a data center. You're all hypocrites if you're against this stuff. This is all good. Data centers are out in the middle of nowhere usually. We can't be against them. It's a freaking building. What's the issue? They just, they just don't want progress. We can't have nice things sometimes. Okay. So over the weekend, I was listening to My First Million. They had Ray Dalio on. Ray Dalio is a multi-billionaire and led, either still does or led for a while, the largest hedge fund in the world, Bridgewater. And I was listening to a story. It was very interesting. He explained, he had he went broke at one point in his 30s, had to like borrow money from his dad, rebuilt his business pretty quickly, was a billionaire within a decade, I think, and then was just like an uber billionaire not too long after that. Really cool story. He has this personality test, and I recommend anyone to take it. It's at principlesu.com, YOU.com. It's a free personality test. It takes an hour to go through. So it tells you kind of like, well, what your person, they have their own definition of like 20 different personality types. What are you? So I decided to take it. I took it this weekend because I was just like burnt out from uh chat gpt disasters. So I did this, and it told me that I am what's called a shaper. And I'm telling you this because I would encourage everybody to do this. It's good to know what we like our personality types are, because then we can know like what we should do and shouldn't be doing. I'm a shaper. Okay. A shaper gets is kind of in the leadership little area of these types. So there's like leadership type personality types, there's like explorer types, all the helper, emotional, uh intelligence types. So shaper right there in the leader zone. And it's interesting because I kind of assumed I had heard this term before, and I kind of assumed that's what I would be, because other famous shapers, it turns out, are like Elon Musk, Ray Dalio himself, the hedge fund guy who made this test, Steve Jobs, all right, Oprah. Oprah, actually, I feel like I have a lot in common with. And then the other one, Martin Luther King. So they are definitely people with big visions that see that vision through. Okay. And it was good to know this about myself because I read Elon Musk's biography, and I resonated a lot with him. I'm not like a super detail oriented person, like technical person like him, like a lot of these people are, but like the vision thing, like I get that I've always had a big vision. But the people who are successful shapers build a system around themselves to execute that vision, because they're not good at every aspect of building something or building a team. They know their weaknesses. I clearly need to continue. I clearly need to learn that lesson some more, because uh, I get caught doing things that I shouldn't be doing. And that's when I get stuck. And it said, and I'm telling you who these other shapers are, not to brag. I'm sure all the different personality types have like famous examples of them, but it's because it gave me just a little more like, I feel like like excuse to be like, okay, yes, that makes sense. I shouldn't. It gives me justification for not doing the things that I are weaknesses of mine. And like it was said, the opposite personality type of from me is an implementer, and that's what I was doing last week with ChatGPT. I was implementing instead of focusing on the high level stuff and letting someone else implement. So I guess my trap as a shaper is I expect myself to do it all. But when you're a solopreneur, like you kind of have to wear a lot of different hats. So I'm trying to find that balance between having to do you're a one man team in some ways, but there are certain things that you can't do, yet you need to get help to do them. But when you have a low budget and you're starting out, how do you get that help? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe there's lower cost ways to get help. Maybe you do some kind of like bartering, service for service with other people who are good at what you are not good at. I think if you have a little bit of a budget, it's not that hard because you can like join online programs and stuff that can help you with this stuff. I feel like I go down these paths where I'm thinking I need to be the technical person. And it interests me, so that's why I initially do it, but I just shouldn't be doing it other than understanding how it works. And I need to get help with those areas. And so if you're that kind of personality, you got to get help. And now I'm telling you this, I'm not preaching because I and myself need to get help. Believe me, I need help, but I need to get help in those areas for sure. Lean on friends who are good at this stuff. Maybe that's the thing to do. Maybe that's what I need to do. I need to talk to some people. Clearly, I'm talking this out because I don't have the answer either. But there is a balance. There's a balance. And if you have an hour, take this personality test. It's pretty good. If you are a success minded person, entrepreneur or not, or employed even, but you want to, you get frustrated and you get stuck sometimes and maybe you don't know why, it's good. It helps out. It helps you figure some things, some blind spots maybe you didn't know. But all of that happened over the weekend. Pressure started building. And when that happens for me, I start like stepping back. I avoid work a little bit. I don't really know what to do. I'm not as engaged. I know that when I feel that way, it's good not to force it. But I start getting to this point now. We're in late July. Maybe you felt this way too if you're working on something and you had a summer goal like I do to get to a certain place by the end of the summer. The weight of that goal starts to get real. And I'm like, uh-oh, it's late July. I am not where I want it to be. And that's a good time to step back and be like, what have I been doing that hasn't worked? You know, for me, I think it is that I'm not interfacing with the market enough. I'm doing research, I'm building things. I started interfacing with the market with that AI business that wasn't quite aligned to what I wanted to do. I tried that. And then Apple put me in jail. And so iPhone purgatory. And so now, like, I don't know, that burned. That burned more than I appreciated that it burned, discouraged me a little bit. But when you start getting further down, towards your goal and you're not where you want to be, pressure starts to build. At least for me, pressure starts to build. And I think it has like a subconscious effect that I don't always appreciate. I got really good over the past couple of years of dealing with like momentary pressure, performance pressure, doing comedy, skydiving, like feeling that anxiety and being able to metabolize that and handle it in the moment. Got really good at that. But the other kind of pressure is that pervasive kind that builds up slow. And you might even know it's there at the beginning, but then you normalize it and you forget, but it's there subconsciously eating away at you. That that just starts to eat like mess up your motivation. It's sneaky pressure is what I would call it. And not only that, once you're on like a runway or once you have limited time to get something going, and especially when there's financial implications, like you need to be getting in money, bringing in money soon, you've put that pressure on yourself. Everything has this little tinge of survival pressure on it. And I started having this thought like this needs to fix my life, you know. I didn't know it consciously, but these efforts that you make when there's a failure, and you're unconsciously thinking this has to work. Even if you ask me like out loud, does this need to work? Rationally, I'm like, no, it's fine if it fails. I'll figure something else out. But subconsciously, that's not always how I feel. And so having that pressure in there, it just compounds. And you can't create from that place. And it makes small wins impossible because a small win doesn't feel like enough. And that's how I was feeling the past week. I was like, something's got to work and it's got to work big. And if it doesn't, I am still effed. But that you can't do that. So, what's helped me a little bit was just acknowledging that's how I'm feeling, feel it, let it in. It's not comfortable, and just accepting where I am now. And it's okay because when you do that and it lets that pressure settle a little bit, lets it dissipate because you want to be in a place where like you got to have small wins and you got to be in that present minded place where small wins feel good. They shouldn't be feeling like that's not enough because you want to be able to and you want to be able to fail fast. You fail fast, fail quickly. um I think subconsciously I've fallen into that trap where a failure feels like, uh-oh, I was delaying failure by not really engaging with the work, putting it off because I didn't want to feel the failure because a failure would mean that I am screwed. But when in reality, failure is good. Just fail quickly. You want to welcome failure. And then once you do those things, playfulness comes back a little bit. And I just had to remember that. So, still figuring that out, still working through that, but you know, those pressures are real and it helps to acknowledge them. You want to be in a place where you can play, where you have this playfulness about the work you're doing. So that's where I've been this week. As we wrap up the show here, where do I want to go like the rest of the summer? Where do you want to go the rest of the summer? I feel like there's still time. Things haven't worked out the way I wanted, but that's okay. Well, I still have learned a lot. And it's still been good to be home, be with family, be around family, change things up. And for me, doing this, thank you for listening. I'm so glad to have you watch and listen to this. Putting this first has meant so much to me this summer. And being able to do this week by week and feel myself get a little better at it each time has been cool. I haven't done this in a while. So I thank you for watching this and taking the time. What else am I looking forward to this summer? How's it going to be different? It's going to be different because I'm taking that pressure off. I'm not tying things to like, I'm going to take a trip in a couple weeks, nothing crazy, but I don't want to put this pass fail condition like I can't take this trip until I accomplish X. Things like that just add pressure. So I'm not going to do that. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do, and I'm just going to keep at it. And I think that once you have that like drop the pressure, maybe things don't look the way you expected them to, it's okay. Making it fun makes it better and you're more engaged and you do more and you get farther. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. No big trips for me, just carrying on here, KCCOing. And yeah, leave a comment. What are you going to do the rest of this summer? Hey, it's not too late. We're still like the fall semester hasn't started yet. I don't consider it fall until October. So we're only halfway through the summer. You got August, you got the end of July, most of September. Get something going. Things get busy in the fall. So work on something, make it fun. That's my recommendation to you. Thanks so much for being here. Boomer Summer's going to continue. Boomer things are going to be happening. So stay tuned next week for another episode of Free as Can Be. I've been Brandon Beeyard. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time from the hot, sweaty Florida panhandle